Okay, so let's start. Uh, so welcome everyone for the annual routine BoF. So every year we have this session and we try to discuss things that we have been doing in our plans for the next year. Uh, we have this GOBI document. If you are uh, watching us online, you can access that, and we'll be taking notes on this document. Uh, so yeah, initially my idea here was to start with some introductions, but I don't think it will be necessary because here on site we have just me, Abdit, and Doko. So I think we can skip that, right? Yeah, so let's skip that. I was thinking that we would have like more local people so we could introduce them to the rest of the team. So we can move on to the statistics that uh, team metrics project from Andreas T generate for us. This is we're using this for some years already, so we can have a quick look on them. We can start again with the activity in our Debian Ruby mailing list. As we can see in the latest years here, let me try to increase here this size a bit. Yeah, so yeah, we are using less and less our mailing list, so, but I think that's okay because
Just curious, why this image is on blends.debian.net?
I didn't get.
It is uploaded in the blends.debian.net.
Yes, this is a project from Andreas Thiel where he tries to collect data from some teams in Debian. So I asked him to add the Ruby team in his list. So there is this script that for many different teams, per team and some others. So here he collects some data from mailing lists, BTS, uploads, Git commits, and so on. So I think with this we can have a great idea about what we are doing and the health of our team, like how many people, we will see the other charts, the other graphs, but I think it's good to discuss this so we can at least understand the current status of our team. And nowadays we can see that mailing list is not our main way of communication, right? I think we're using more IRC. People are pretty active when we ping them there. So I don't see we sending many emails. I see many newcomers sending RFS emails there. I think that mostly it, right? Nowadays, not much to be discussed, and we are using this kind of meeting to discuss. So we have sprints, we have BoFs and DebConf, we have RC, and usually we discuss everything there, and we are not too present in our mailing list nowadays. The other statistics that we have here is bugs closed by our team. Let me try to increase here. Yeah, I don't know exactly what we can take from this, but we are closing less bugs than the past, but that might be good. Maybe we have less bugs. That's why we're closing less bugs. But yeah, I don't know exactly how we can interpret this to take any action. So, any idea? Like, I don't think, yeah. Do you have any insight, like, seeing this? Yeah, but you can see, like, Terceiro, Cedric, Pravin have been closing a bunch of bugs, but I think this is because of the old history here, right? We should try to get this data like more in a small window, like just the last year or so, then we could analyze better because here we have all the data since 2005, so yeah. The other thing is the VCS commits, so commits on Salsa. I think it's quite stable, like we have this peak here, but in general, over the years, everything's it's like stable, I would say. I feel that our team usually have this peak of activity, usually during sprints, and there we do a bunch of work, and then after that we like kind of stop of working on that for a while, and then year releases or and so on, we get back and fix things. So maybe that's what this showing here. Yeah. Yeah, and Cedric has been doing a bunch of mass commits in our packages, like doing general things in all the Ruby packages. So I think that justifies why he has these many commits in our repositories. Yeah. Any comments? Like, yeah. This is something that I think it's interesting, like in general, because this is the number of maintainers working on a package. So this is good, I think, because ideally we should have at least 2 maintainers for each package to avoid any bottleneck. And for instance, we have less than 100 packages with just a single maintainer. And most of them we have 4 maintainers. So that's good because we have a backup in case someone like just vanish, you know. So in the ideal scenario, this curve should move to the right here. But I think it's good enough right now. And I don't know if this is a big problem for us because usually we do upload packages even if we are not maintainers of it, right? Like,
I mean, we do the team upload, so
yeah. But I mean, yeah, it looks good at least, the data here, right? Yeah. This one is interesting. This one, Andreas was mentioning his BoF about this. He presented some data about this team metrics, and he was saying that his team, the Debian Med, for instance, most of the packages are maintained by a single maintainer, so that's an issue for them. So here I think we're good in this scenario. And these other statistics is the uploaders. So how many uploads each person did over the years. I didn't have much time, honestly, to try to get any better insights. But yeah, we can keep seeing those peaks here when we are doing a bunch of things. And you see Pravin is working a lot here, those red bars. And yeah. And the number of uploads is spread among all of us, so I think it's fine. There is no, I don't know, we are not putting all the work on the shoulders of a single person, I would say. So I think our team is healthy regarding this, so there is no real bottleneck for us. We have Pravin, Cedric, and Antonio doing many things, but all of us are also like doing many uploads. Anything? Yeah. And we also have this one, like new package created by our team. Nowadays, like I don't see we creating many new packages. Like we have mostly everything that we need packaged already. We just when we have like a new upstream version of, I don't know, those big applications that we maintain, usually we need to package a gem or two. But in general, you can see we are not doing packaging new stuff at all. We are just maintaining what we already have, which is already much work, right? It's enough for us. We don't need more packages. I think we do have 1,500 packages, something like that, under our umbrella. So I think this is the reason why we are trying to avoid. Actually, we are removing packages from the archive more than creating, right? Right. So those were the statistics that I was planning to present here from Team Metrics. So again, thanks to Andreas Thiel for providing that for us. So the other topic here is, oh, I see Cedric is online. So yeah. So the other topic, it would be the Ruby 3.2 transition. Ruby 3.2 was released like at the end of the last year, so I think most of the upstream projects already support that. So I don't think if we start a transition right now, it will be like an issue. It will be a matter of maybe updating those packages to a newer upstream version to better support Ruby 3.2.
Have you done any rough check on like how many packages need the update? So
Yeah, no, I didn't do any of that yet. I would like to let you know that in Ubuntu, for instance, we are planning to do this in the next semester. So I will be working on that anyway, and of course, I prefer to do it in Debian. So I will. My plan for this was to package Ruby 3.2 already and start rebuilding everything to make sure to check which reverse dependencies would break with that new version, but I didn't have enough time to do that. So I will be doing that in the next weeks. So and then I can share on the list, as we usually do, the results with what's breaking, what's not breaking, and start to file bug reports so we can kick off the transition. But I added, yeah, there is this this email from, I think, from Lucas Nussbaum, where he was asking about the plans for Ruby 3.2. So I think I didn't reply yet because I was planning to discuss with the team before that. But I think we should start it ASAP, like because in the end of the year, Ruby 3.3 will be released, and we are still in 3.1. So
So I think we should do it in mid-October or something, once the new cycle opens for Ubuntu as well.
Yeah.
So that we can just sync it and then start the transition.
Yeah, I want to try to, before that, start this pre-work, like packaging Ruby 3.2 itself, uploading to experimental,
stage that in
starting to rebuild everything, and then when we start the transition, like in October or November at most. That's my idea. I think I would say I believe that in, I don't know, at most 2 months we'll have this done. Like everything's done. Because this is not a major bump. It's from 3.1 to 3.2. Of course, there are some breaking changes, I think, but not many. And as I mentioned before you arrived, I believe that most of the upstream projects already support 3.2 at this point, because it was released in December last year, right?
And what about 3.3? Like, we're just going to be 2 months from 3.3.
Yeah, but I think it 3.3, at least for thinking about what I'm planning to do, which is related to the Ubuntu release cycle, I would say it would be late for me, at least, to start working on 3.3 directly, like skipping 3.2. And also, if we move to 3.3, there might be some breaking changes, and the upstream projects like not supporting that yet.
Okay, we'll see when the time comes.
Yeah.
Christmas.
I think we have been doing that for some years. Like we don't have the latest version, upstream version, but we have latest -1. because it's safe enough and there are bug fixes already, and we know that it's more stable than the latest. Like if it was released last week, very likely we'll find some bugs there, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I added here the steps, things that I was planning to do here. So it's still in my to-do list. So I was planning to report what I've done during the DebConf, but yeah, I didn't manage to do. So package Ruby 3.2 and upload to experimental. I will be doing that. Also update Ruby defaults to point to both Ruby 3.1 and 3.2 initially to start the rebuilds and see what's happening. Yeah, and then file bugs, fix issues, and start the transition in a stable. Yeah, so my plan would be to start the real transition like in October, end of October maybe. So yeah, I will be sharing the results of the rebuilds in the mailing list, and then I think we can coordinate there how we can fix whatever is broken.
Yeah, as usual.
Yeah, as usual, of course. Any comments about that? On IRC, do you have any comments on IRC? No, no comments. Yeah, okay. Thanks for taking notes, Cedric. Right, so the next topic, I think Utkarsh brought up to me, it was that we should do the Rails 7 transition.
Right. So this is going to be Rails 6 to Rails 7, and this is not going to be a easy transition. There'll be breakage for sure. There's an ABI bump, right? And yeah, it is expected that a lot of things will break with Rails 7. But Rails 7 has been around for a while, so I hope that the upstream. So the problem is, most of the upstream, some of the upstream would have adopted Rails 7. Some of them would be dead. As usual, we encounter every release and every bump, right? So then we'll have to manage Rails 6 to Rails 7 on our own, the transition, or maybe if there are leaf packages, drop them, stuff like that, as usual, right? But this is going to be something to look out for, and I don't think we should entangle the two Rails.
Yeah, of course not. Yeah.
Because it's gonna be a mess. Or if you decide that Rails 6 doesn't work with 3.2, then we have to bump and then we just have to do it together, and that's not gonna be pretty, because you'll never know what's causing the
if it's
regression.
Ruby or Rails.
Yeah, and then it could be a mix of both. It could be either.
Yeah.
It could be or, right? So yeah, so this is something that we need to plan out as well. I was hoping to, well, yeah, there's also rack transition, right? I have a hunch that Rails 7 and Rack 3 transition are going to go together.
Yeah, I think so, because the upstream already supporting Rack 3.
Yes.
They moved it already, I think, to Rails 7.
Yes.
So that's also a blocker for the Rack 3 transition, actually, I think.
Well, we could just merge the two and then just do it together. Rack 3 and Rails 7 is not going to be a big issue. Rails 7 and Ruby 3.2 is going to be a harder thing to handle together.
Yeah, but the Rack 3 transition, it will be some work for us as well, because
for sure.
Because it is out for a while, but the upstream maintainers, they are still not supporting that for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, because there's a huge bump.
Yeah.
Right? And then some of the things, as what I've heard, so are not really backwards compatible.
Yeah, there are a bunch of uncompatible.
So
backward compatible.
Yeah, we need to keep an eye. So I'm not sure when should we start this. I mean, the earlier the better for sure. But then we also don't want to mix Rails with Ruby 3.2. Perhaps revisit this when things are settling down with 3.2 and everything works with 3.2, so we know that everything's like
Yeah.
working. And so whenever we upload Rails 7, we should know that the regressions are going to be caused by Rails and Rails itself and not new Ruby. So when we look for the fixes, we look for the right thing. We know what's happening, because there's going to be the three transitions are going to be a bit messy together.
No, yeah, I totally agree on that. But so we'll be postponing those two transitions to do it after Rails 3.2 or Ruby 3.2 then, right?
Yes, yes. That's the plan. Maybe Tercero or Cedric have a different opinion, and yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if Cedric has something to tell us. If you have, Cedric, please send a message on IRC or even Gobi. That works. So let me add this as a note. Right. This is the Rack 2 transition is more pressing, in my opinion, because of those security issues related to Rack 2. So I'm not pretty sure if those upstream maintainers are aware of that, because they are using like a software with a bunch of flaws, security flaws, and they are not working to upgrade to the latest version. So yeah, but I don't think there is much we can do, because we cannot fix all the packages using that by ourselves. We don't have the manpower to do that. So yeah, let's come on. Yeah. Anything else? Do you have any transition in mind, like for the near future, Abhijit, or that you've been working on, or?
I think these are the main ones, and the smaller ones will definitely be entangled with these transitions.
Which one?
I mean, if there are any smaller ones, they'll just be entangled within these. So these are the main three transitions that we have. We often have like smaller transition, like and this always comes together because so that'll be worked out during these three major transitions.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. So I think we have a plan regarding this. So the summary is that we were going to start a Ruby 3.2 transitions as soon as possible. And then after that, we'll try to sort out the Rails 7 and Rack 3 transition.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we have a plan already. And Cedric mentioned that transition plan looks good.
Perfect.
Okay, so we can move on. The other topic is from Utkarsh again. So he wants to give us some update about Rubocop packaging.
Right. So Rubocop packaging started as a project that I did with Tercero in Google Summer of Code, and this was written to basically bridge the gap between upstream and downstream, and so it was my baby project that me and Tercero spent some time with. So now we don't actively develop it because we have like worked on majority of issues, but the stats are now like people have started to use it themselves, right? Like last year we have 1. How many K? 7?
1.7K.
Yeah, 1.7K GitHub repositories are being used, and then we have more than it's almost 1.5 million downloads, 1.4 million downloads, and yeah, so that's cool to see that everybody's using it. The good thing was Rails upstream started using it, and then everybody copied
That's a
Rails,
good thing.
and
Yeah.
then um, and now people just use it. Sometimes I just see like if it's just like automated or like, so I do see sometimes that people are manually adding this to their gen. Of course, there's like lesser. It's not marketed as well. I mean, as it should be, right? So it's not marketed that well, and there's very little awareness about this. But even with that, um, even with the limited um, advertisement on how this really helps downstream, it has.
Do do we have a track of how many, like, I don't know, pull requests happen because of this? Like how many code chains?
So,
Do you yeah.
so we could drop about 125 patches because of this from the packages. That was when I don't know, give or take 10 months ago. At least 125 is what I remember, because those are the packages that I touched, and I'm not sure how many people touched other packages and dropped it. So there's not a track, because it's very hard to track
Yeah,
the number
yeah.
of patches within the Ruby team, right? But I'm my hunch is about 200, give or take, should be where.
Yeah, that's really good because, for instance, nowadays when you, in the past when you get some packages, like you download some packages, you would ever have some patches changing relative paths and things like that.
Yes. Yes.
Nowadays you don't see that much.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. Yeah.
Yeah. So things like that are basically getting better, and as more people use it, and like some more, well, 1.7K repositories on GitHub are using this project. So the more people are using it, the better things are getting upstream. Like the basic problems are getting solved. So that's good. That's good. And we have always gotten support from upstream Rubocop. So if you see the contributors, they are also the core people. He's like a core Rubocop person, and then he takes care of everything. And there's a couple of more. So, yeah,
Cool, man.
it was a good project, I
It's
feel.
interesting that even, as you mentioned, you are not developing any new feature, but people are still using it and it's really useful,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Are people filing any bug reports for that?
Yes. So there were pull requests, there were issues, and I, and I wanted to fix them, and I wanted to do a new upload, right? But then I lost my keys, RubyGem's key.
Okay.
I lost my two-factor authentication, and now
Uh-huh.
I cannot ever upload anything again until I work with David to
To
find
sort
a
this
new,
out, yeah.
yeah. So
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, it's good.
I
Man.
cannot gem push this to a RubyGem server.
Okay, fair enough. It's just you, the maintainer, then?
Okay, so why do you think the
Yeah.
upstream developers have started to use Ruby core packaging? Is because there wasn't a tool like that before, or for the no?
So there was definitely not a tool like that before. That's why this was a GSOC project, right? Like we wanted to do this. So Rubocop in general is a linter, which helps you correct things on the fly. And when we raised awareness, when essentially the bigger projects like Rails and then like, all the bigger libraries that we used, when we raised awareness among people like, how this is problematic for downstream and like if this will help if you just drop these things. This really kickstarted a thing on its own. So the communities of developer basically saw each other using Rubocop, and then some people, for example, are really active. Like they would still tag me in issues that, how we can better drop this, how can we better support this. So I often get tagged in comments. I just have limited time to help now, so I often don't reply to a lot of comments, but I see people answering other people. So I don't even have to answer myself with my maintainer at home. But yeah, so there are a couple of people who are just using it, and then I've given them push rights to this repository as well. So I'm basically not maintaining this myself. The core Robocop person has the commit rights, and I think one of the other person who's like a cucumber person who like does like who has another 25 upstream projects. He also uses it, and then he also has the commit rights, I think. So
That's really nice. Yeah.
So basically, fear of missing out, I think.
Yeah, good work, man. It's good to be like working together with upstream projects and improving the entire ecosystem, right? Yeah. Any comments about this?
I just wanted to ask, we have all those statistics, but do we have, by any chance, a statistic, a graph of how many patches we have dropped from?
No,
Right? This is
no.
too hard to track.
Yeah. Yeah, it's doable for sure, but yeah, it would be not easy, I think. And we need to implement ourselves because this data we are using the Teams project
Yes.
data and
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool. Thanks.
I mean, how do you think we can collect those data points, like patches dropped because of RubyCop? I mean,
In general. Yeah, this will be really not gonna. The patches drop will not be a straightforward answer to how much Robocop packaging is helping, but I just want to see if there's a decline in patches since Robocop packaging was born, just to see like if there's at least a decline, right? Like, very likely it could be 50-50, whereas like 50%, only 50% or only 25% is Robocop packaging. But even then, I would like to see a decline in the patches if such a metric was available. But yeah.
Yeah, but right. So should we move on to the next topic?
Yeah, my favorite topic.
Yeah, so the last topic here that we have in the agenda is plans for next sprint. So I don't know exactly what are our plans. I think we didn't discuss that yet. So
Yeah, Terceiro vaguely mentioned that there's a possibility of sprints in Brazil this time and not Paris. But if Cedric still is up for that, at least as a backup, if like Terceiro doesn't work out the Brazilian thing, or if he doesn't have time or whatever.
yeah, I don't know if Cedric could tell us if he's at least available for it. I think Terceiro mentioned that.
Not Sergio, but Cedric.
Cedric. Sorry. Yeah.
You're too much into Ubuntu and Brazilian people.
Yeah, so Cedric, I don't know if you're available for that this time. Just as a backup, maybe, I don't know.
Cedric.
Cedric.
Yes.
I said Cedric, no? Cedric, okay. I said
Okay.
Cedric, no. Yeah, so maybe that might be a backup plan, but Terceiro is not online now, so
Yeah.
we'll need to wait for him, but I don't know if you...
But perhaps Cedric is there. Cedric, do you think, if you're listening, that you could potentially be a backup again, as usual?
Yeah, depending on the which day... Yeah.
But it's essentially everything's the same, right? Like near FOSDEM, like around those
Yeah, I
dates,
think that
second week of February,
yeah,
third week of
something-
February.
The same that we have been doing
For
the previous
2
years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Do you think that's doable, Cedric?
I mean, if you think that it's not doable, then I think we can just go crash the place anyway. They don't even ask for the IDs. Cedric, so we know for a fact where you are.
Yeah, he said he'll be teaching a lot, but it should be fine.
Cool.
Yeah, so I think we have a backup, and I think, Terceiro wants to do that in his home city. I think it's in Salvador, the capital of Bahia, which is in the northeast of Brazil.
Yeah.
So, I think that would be good to go somewhere else, right? Like,
For sure. One more thing is that we also have some mini DebCons planned around that time. We could perhaps piggyback.
Yeah.
The plan was to do it in Portugal or Spain. I don't know. The mini DebCon last time, and we could have piggybacked if you don't have like
Yeah, in Brazil we will have a mini DebConf in May.
in May.
May.
May would it be late till then? But anyway, perhaps. Sure. Maybe you can do 3.3 by then.
It's right at the beginning of May, like
After the
the
Ubuntu
first week,
sprints?
I think.
After the Ubuntu sprints?
Before.
Okay.
1 week before, 2 weeks before.
All right.
So, yeah, we could see if that works. Because usually use those sprints, we would use that to finish the transition, right? Usually we do
Yeah.
that, like. So I don't know if you want to do that earlier, right? Yeah.
Well, if it's, that's what I'm saying. If it's May, then we might as well sneak in 3.3, and that'll be like next Ubuntu cycle, not even N, but like O.
Yeah, but I mean, in Ubuntu I'll need to move to 3.2 anyway.
Yeah, for sure. 3.2 for Mantic, for sure. Oh, sorry, not Mantic. 3.3,
LTS.
3.2 for NN,
Yeah.
right? And then we can see if time works out, depending on when we are having the sprints, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think we should postpone 3.3, to be honest. Like,
Find
because
it.
otherwise we will start like 3.2 transition. We would finish that around end of February, I don't know, or March. And then we would need to start another one right after, like.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, there is also these other two transitions that we plan to work on, like
Yes.
the Rails and
Yes.
the Rack 3. Those might be some items to work on during this sprint. Let me add some notes here. Right. So I think I took some notes here. Do we have anything else to discuss today? Because we have, I think, 2 minutes, right? Yeah.
It's quite
So
a
you
lot of
can-
time.
Yeah. You can talk about a bunch of things in 2 minutes. Man.
So last sprint we had like plan for adding new packages like the famous ones, Mastodons and all. But
Do you have any update on that?
no, I don't see anyone working on that.
I mean, people who would generally work on that was mostly core
Yeah,
team.
because
so DebConf is,
DebConf took most of
Yeah.
their time. Yeah.
So I don't think that we actually got around to doing that. I mean, it would very likely be Praveen and people he mentors.
Yeah, I think we can get back to this topic on the next sprint, maybe.
Perhaps.
Yeah,
Perhaps.
because I think we didn't make anything
Yeah.
regarding that. Like.
Very quickly, I wanted to discuss about the inactivity within the Ruby team.
Yeah. You mentioned that somewhere.
So probably down below.
No, man, it's
Okay.
okay. I can edit here.
Yeah.
You can, do your thing. Right?
So lately this isn't something different, but lately we've seen like, a lot of inactivity in our team. We generally we had some mailing list discussions, we had some IRC discussion, people doing stuff, but like that has just gotten very dry. I mean, I understand everybody's busy with their lives and like, people do work on packages, but like just do their stuff, upload it and stuff like that. We've often talked about how we can do it better. We always come up with the plans, but we don't really act on them for too long. Like after the sprints, we are active for a bit, and then everything just
Yeah.
starts to die. And this has been like the driest I've ever seen. Like for months, there are no messages.
Yeah, that's true.
And yeah, if there are messages, then there are no replies to that. It's just messages.
It's like too much Ruby at once, and then
Yeah.
you don't want to hear Ruby anymore for
Exactly.
some months.
Exactly. And this DebConf, I've seen people interested in Ruby packaging, and then they asked me, where can I ask? And then I said Debian Ruby, and then, oh yeah, but that nobody talks there. I thought like, this is not really active. And then that is when I talked about adding this as a topic. So I don't really have suggestions on what we can do, because we always talk about it, right? But perhaps we should be more active, like, talking about transition, talking about...
Yeah, that's
Yes.
something that we discussed when we were talking about the statistics. We are not using our mailing list that much
Yeah,
nowadays.
exactly.
So maybe we should try to be more vocal there, like spreading the news and discussing stuff there,
Yeah, Cedric has a suggestion there. Perhaps a regular meeting, bi-monthly. Yeah, that works. Definitely bi-weekly, what we tried last time was too much for people to join, but perhaps monthly or bi-monthly could work out. Yes. Encouraging people to update their work. That'll be super.
Yeah. I think that would be interesting. We could
Yeah.
try that out again, because
Yeah,
in the last time it didn't work well, right?
exactly. Right, even LTS, yes. I do a bunch of things for
So,
Rails and Ruby. So
Could
yeah.
you get an action item to send an email to the mailing list to start this discussion there?
Not for another 2 weeks, but perhaps after
Yeah,
that.
me neither. But I mean, after DebConf, not like tomorrow.
I could put something together.
Okay, so I will add an action item.
Yeah, we're all already past the time, so I think we should stop here.
Yeah, I will take the time is over.
Perfect.
So thank you, Cedric, for attending remotely our BoF.
Yes.
And thank you everyone who is here. So yeah, see you in the next sprint then.
Yeah. Do people get to see how many people are there?
Can we wave?
No, you don't have to. Yeah, thank you for all the 100 people who joined us. Yeah, clearly Ruby meant a lot to a lot of people. So yeah, thanks everybody for joining.
Thank you.